Hello everyone, today we're discussing the third and final installment of Letters from the Underworld, Part 3. This is the series based on leaked emails from the European Medicines Agency at the end of November 2020, right around the time of approval of COVID-19 vaccines in the US, Europe, and the United Kingdom. First, I would like to revisit this table. I brought it up in my previous videos. This is one of the slides that was generated by the European Medicines Agency. This is at the end of November, and Pfizer, November 2020, and Pfizer met with the European Medicines Agency reviewers and brought test results for several batches that they had manufactured at the time. And they are color-coded by the source of manufacture. The purple ones are BioNTech, BNT, in Germany. The red is Pfizer, Andover, Massachusetts plant. The blue is Polymen, which is a small pilot-scale manufacturer that Pfizer was employing. And green is Pfizer's plant in Porres, Belgium. And we're going to focus on test results for these batches, which are listed in column number 3 and number 6, and we are looking at this percent RNA integrity test. As you recall, Pfizer vaccine is based on modified RNA. It's a synthetic modified RNA, which is encapsulated in lipids, and then this RNA is a piece of code. Think of it as code. Let's say it says ABC. It's supposed to code is supposed to be ABC, and it transcribes a specific protein that your body needs to make, and that's what Pfizer's efficacy is based on. So when they make a batch of material that later gets filled into vials and distributed, that batch needs to contain this code. And they have a test that they designed to test how much of this code is actually in the batch. These are the test results for it. So a percent mRNA integrity, it means how much of that batch active ingredient conforms to the specification of that code. Let's say the code is ABC. So it is ABC between 55% of the time and 86% of the time. At the meeting, the regulators asked them a very reasonable question: what happens the other 50% of the time when it's not ABC? And Pfizer didn't have a good answer. They didn't describe what that was. They said it's truncated species of RNA and maybe some residual DNA, and they have some quantifications of it, but they don't know what that piece of code may code for, what other proteins, what other functions it may have. And also they don't know what the impact on safety or efficacy of their product. In addition to that, they could not explain why it ranged so much in their product. And very shocking to me is that the regulators just went along with it, and they agreed in the meeting with Pfizer, and I put the text from another slide just for making it concise. At the top of the page, you can see the text from that meeting that said, therefore, we are revising the acceptance criteria for the batches. Previously, it was higher, it was over 70%, and now we're revising it to be only greater than 50% of RNA integrity in a batch, simply because Pfizer brought this range of batches to them, ranging from 55 to 86. So here we have an example of a manufacturer dictating their own acceptance standard to the regulators, and regulators agreeing. And regulators are not incompetent people, so my question is why? Why did they agree to this? Why did they agree for the product to be ranging so widely in the most important specification, which is active ingredient of this product? So today I just want to discuss two emails, but they're very critical. They're important to this particular issue, the percent mRNA integrity. And very earth-shattering news that I want to share with you. I found a single honest person in the European Medicines Agency, and her name is Evdokia Korakianiti. So she's a reviewer, as far as I understand, in the quality manufacturing section, and she brought up this issue. She is writing this email. She found these test results. She reviewed the documents from Pfizer, and she's writing an email to her colleagues. And the email says, and I'm going to read this, This email is for awareness and to flag the important comparability issue with the BioNTech vaccine that needs to be addressed prior to approval. Issue: a significant difference in percent integrity/truncated species has been observed between the clinical batches, approximately 78% mRNA integrity, based on which the interim analysis was performed, and the proposed commercial batches, which is only 55%. So what is she saying? She's saying that we found a very significant issue. Pfizer used clinical scale batches, smaller batches in clinical trials. At that time, percent of mRNA integrity in those batches was around 78%. They ran clinical trials, they compiled data, they submitted it to the regulators, and now they're saying our commercial scale batches have percent mRNA integrity of only 55%. So she's bringing this up and saying, how can we rely and compare? So how can we make decisions based on this clinical trial if commercial manufacturing deviates so much from the clinical trial material? And she's further saying that Pfizer themselves declared that percent mRNA integrity is a critical component of their efficacy. So here they're saying the company claims that the efficacy of the drug product is dependent on the expression of the delivered RNA, which requires a sufficiently intact RNA molecule. That's exactly right. It's the active ingredient in the vaccine. They're claiming the efficacy of vaccine depends on it. And why is it ranging so much? In addition, Pfizer cannot explain why they have this range. And they don't know what the impact is on safety and efficacy of patients. So this is a critical issue. I suggest you pause the slide and read the email for yourself. But she's bringing this up. She's doing her job. And I'm surprised, and I'm happily surprised that at least somebody at EMA was bringing this up. Her colleague also responded to this and said that, we could test for it. We could test for the effects, at least in the expression of the protein. You could test it on maybe benchtop. So he's suggesting a test of comparability. I don't believe any of these tests were performed or submitted prior to the approval. And the second email I want to share is also in response to Evdokia. It's one of her colleagues, probably her boss, Veronica Yerkely. And she's head of Pharmaceutical Quality Office, Quality and Safety of Medicines in EMA. And she says, yes, we have summarized these three major objections to the manufacturing submission from Pfizer, and they include lack of GMP compliance. And the remedy for this was that Pfizer is going to do a distant assessment, which is not an audit of GMP, and it's not full audit. It's just Pfizer is going to send them some documents to review. And then the second one was this issue of mRNA integrity. And again, they said that we found an issue with comparability between clinical and commercial material. Drug substance and drug product is questioned. The root cause analysis ongoing at the time wasn't completed. So they're just saying, okay, we found this issue. We're noting it as a major objection. Major objection, by the way, something is a showstopper. You can't proceed and you can't get the drug approved. So they're summarizing three very, very important objections: lack of GMP compliance, lack of mRNA integrity, and we don't understand why. And then the third one is incompleteness of documents. So we can't even make full decisions because we do not have full data to review. So all of this is on the table, yet a couple of weeks later, these products get approved, get distributed, and start being injected in millions of people. And by the way, these problems are still unsolved. In the latest release of Freedom of Information documents from Pfizer, we see the same issues and that they were only going to study them in 2021, and there are no results for any of these studies and no explanation why the product was ranging so much, why the batches are incomparable with each other and incomparable with the clinical trial material, and no explanation why this is happening, what the impact on safety and efficacy. So again, you can pause and read these emails in more detail. You can see the people who they were addressed, and you can also review our latest research, latest videos on how bad is my batch or howbad.info website. At this website, you can also type in the vaccine code numbers if you have them from the vaccination cards, and see how many adverse events and deaths are recorded for these particular batches in VAERS database by CDC. I look forward to your feedback and questions, and thank you very much for your attention today.